What's up, everybody? Timbo Ryushima, Static Boards here. Gonna go over a nice little quick tutorial on how to do UV texturing and wrapping in Blender, and then how to take it over to Unity. We're gonna start off by opening up Blender. Just ignore everything I have open. I was working on something else. I was working on this practice rail on texturing right now. But anyways, let's go ahead and open a new project. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and hit Shift A and make a cube. Okay, let me turn on my hotkeys here. Okay, so all right, we're gonna make a cube. Okay. Now, the first thing we're going to go over is I'll model it for the sake of this tutorial just because I don't want you to be too confused, but let's just say we have a ramp. Okay? Now, let's say we want this whole ramp to be one smooth concrete texture. Okay? There's a couple ways you can do this. I don't know exactly which way is considered UV wrapping, but I'm just going to show you the few different ways you could do this. So one thing you could do is you can go to Google and you can type in like seamless concrete. You can see I've typed it in before, texture. You could type in something like that. You could find a concrete, like let's say this one right here. We can save that concrete, the picture of that concrete. And now, when we go into our Blender, when we click this ramp, we're going to go up here first to our viewport shader, and we're going to change this from solid over to material preview. It's going to change any object you have white. That's okay. It's just showing you the white base of it because it doesn't have material yet. Then we're going to come down here to our material tab. We're going to click that. We're going to go to new. Like I guess we should tab and go into edit mode first. Sorry. You don't have to have anything selected, but let's go to new. And it's going to come up with a material. Let's name this ramp. Now, to put a picture of a texture or a picture of something, it's very simple. All you're going to do is come down here to base color, and you're going to click this little dot, and you're going to go over here to image texture, and it's going to turn your thing black or some kind of shiny black. Now you're going to come over here back to where you changed it to image texture. You're going to go to open, and we're going to find that concrete that we saved, that seamless concrete, and we're going to open it. So there's our concrete. Now, obviously it looks stretched, it looks iffy. So what you can do now is if you go to face select and you click a face on it and you right click and you go to UV unwrap faces and go to smart UV project. Hit OK. And that's going to give you a more cleaner look. What that did was originally when we added the image to the object, it added it to the whole object, stretched it across the whole object. When we click this face and we right click in Smart UV project this face or unwrap it, I like using Smart UV project. Unwrapping is the same thing, but Smart UV project will put your whole image to one face or whatever you have selected. So this is our whole picture of concrete. This over here is the one picture of it stretched out to those four sides. So now if I was to click this side and right click and go to Smart UV project, it's going to fix it so it's just this one image. If it was a full square, it would be the whole image, but since it's cut in half, it's just half of it. But if you do that now on each side separately, I just do the bottom for the hell of it, you have yourself a nice concrete ramp. So that's your basic image texture, okay? That's how to do an image texture. So we're going to come down here, we're going to click this X, and we're going to get rid of the image texture, okay? We're going to click where it says image texture, the yellow dot, and we're going to come back on here and change this to RBG over here on the left. Click RBG. We're going to change that back to RBG. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do UV wrapping with like a material. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that material altogether, and we'll hit new, and we'll call this ramp again. Okay, it'll probably give you 001 on it because we already called something ramp, but whatever. So now you're going to go to a website. Let me get rid of this. One that I use is Texture Haven. You could type in free PBR textures, and CCO is another good one. There's a ton of sites. Basically, you want to look up free PBR textures. CCO textures is one of the main ones that I use, and so is oh my gosh, I can't remember. I have another site I use a lot. But this has a lot of stuff here. Pavement, paving, metal, wall, rough, anything you want. So let's go ahead and just type in concrete. And then go ahead and find a decent concrete for your ramp. So like we'll just grab this for example. Now, PNG is better than a JPEG for the file. PNG is also bigger. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to use a JPEG. Obviously, the more you do here, the better of an image you're going to have when it comes to quality. But remember, quality also sacrifices performance. So you have to find a good balance. What I do is I always try to grab the PNG if it's there, and I always get at least 2K. If I really want something to be super crazy detailed, I'll go 4K. For the most part, I go 2K. Again, I don't really do this method anymore because I do a lot of my texturing in Substance Painter, but this is the way to do it without Substance Painter. So once you download it, you got your concretes. What I do is make a folder, call it concrete texture. My advice would be to make a folder and for the park you're working on. So we'll just go UV text park. Okay, and because you might have 50, 60 textures that you want to do. So you definitely want to make a UV or whatever your park's name is. Obviously, this is the tutorial park, but you want to make that, and you want to make a bunch of folders in there with each texture and keep it very organized. And there's reasons for that later. I'll show you. But you're gonna go ahead and drag and drop those 4 in there. You should get 4 files. Sometimes there's 5 because there's an AO displacement, it's called. You don't need the AO displacement as long as you have this displacement. So you just really need these 4 files every time. So if there's a 5th one, you don't really have to worry about it. But you're always going to need the color, normal, roughness, and displacement. Your displacement is your height map. For people that don't know, your color is your base map. Your normal is that like bluish mask map. I don't know. The normal is like I can't describe it. I just can't. I don't know. And then your roughness, which is obviously your roughness, common sense. But okay, we got those 4. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna actually drag this off screen for a sec, and we're gonna come back in Blender, and we're gonna come over here, and we're gonna click this. Right? Yeah, click this. Or no, I'm sorry. So now that we have our ramp selected here and we have our material, we're going to come up here, and if you go by the options here, you get this little plus symbol. When you click this plus symbol and drag, it's going to bring you out another viewport window. Don't do more than 2. You can do like an infinite amount, but it will mess you up and you'll get really confused. So try to do 2. Some people drag one up from the bottom and do 3. The way to get rid of it is to go between the 2 you made, click and drag back the one that you made. So if you ever, get stuck and you're like, how do I get rid of this? You just come back up here, drag back, and you're good. I didn't know how to do that, so I would do this and I'd be stuck here and would not know how to go back. But so when you're here, what you're going to do is you're going to come up here and you're going to click this little editor type button, and you're going to come down to shader editor. Okay, your shader editor is going to open up, and it's going to be a box. This is the principal box. This box basically contains all the settings for the texture that you're going to apply to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and drag in our concrete. Okay, so we're going to take the color, we're going to drag it in, and we're going to drop it right here. Okay, there's two nodes on here on top, the color and the alpha, and then there's the vector. We're going to click the color node, and we're going to drag it to the base color on the principal map. The color is always going to be the base color. Sometimes the color map is also called an albedo map, ALBEDO. So if you have a map and it says albedo map, that's your color map, your base map. The easiest way to figure that out is when you click it and look at it, it'll be your actual texture that you're going to want to see at the end. That's going to be your base map, your color, your albedo every time. Then your displacement's going to look weird. It's going to be dark. It's going to be offset black and white because it's a height map. Your normal's going to be blue always. And your roughness is just going to be very light. It's going to be detailed with the cracks and stuff. So once you get used to seeing those four kind of things with each texture, you'll get very used to what goes where. But your color is going to go to your base color. Then you're going to take your displacement, drag it over here. The displacement color node is going to go to the material output displacement color node on this box right here, this last purple one, displacement. You're going to come back up here to the displacement. You're going to change the color space to non-color. And then we're going to go back to this. We're going to grab our normal. We're going to bring it down here. We're going to, for the normal, we have to make a map for it. So the way to do that is while you're on this side in this viewport, hit Shift A. And in this search, you're going to click the search. And you're going to type in normal, and normal map's going to pop up. You're going to click it. You're going to get this little normal map. Now what we're going to do in the normals, we're going to change the color space down here to non-color. We're going to do this color node to the normal map color mode. Then we're going to take this normal node off the normal map, and we're going to connect it to the normal at the bottom of this principal. Okay, so that's going to correct our normal over here on the ramp. So now the last one we got left is the roughness. Roughness can be finicky. We're going to bring it over here. There is actually a spot right here for roughness. So you can go ahead and take your color on the roughness and drag it over to roughness and change the color space to non-color. And there is your texture. Now for this, when you do it like this, you shouldn't need to UV wrap anything or unwrap. It should be good to go. If for some reason it's not, you can always go up here and go to UV editor. And when you go to UV editor, it's going to give you a picture of your texture. And when you come back in this port and you click like face select, you can see this is the face right here, this box for this face. So now if I wanted to click these two here and just like an object, hit G to grab and move it, and hit like X and move it, you can see on the left side over here, it's actually moving my image, and I can stretch it out, I can bring it in. So with the faces of stuff, I like to still smart UV project it. I don't know if you saw, but it did have a subtle difference in the way that the lines were going, the angles, everything like that. It kind of matched up with the sides better. That's something you can play around with. You can click each side, you can edit. It's exactly what it looks like, you know what I mean? You can change the shape, angle, everything. So that's all up to you. Now once you're good, you're going to go ahead and save this. We'll save it to the desktop as UV ramp. Boom, boom. Okay, so now what we want to do is when we go to, we're going to want to come out of Blender and we're going to want to open up Unity. This is going to take a sec, but bear with me. I did just open a new project for this. Something I'm working on, but I haven't started, so it's a blank project. I really hope that these videos are helping you guys, though. I'm trying my best to explain everything. I keep getting a lot of people with unknown errors that I never encountered, so I'm kind of baffled by them myself, but surprisingly I've been able to help a lot of people, so that's just been the goal, is to do what I can. Unfortunately, it seems like the people I was learning from have kind of cut ties due to the community and the way shit's going. So I'm kind of on my own, just floating and learning. So hopefully, I hope some of you are really taking some stuff from this and making some apps, or at least making something that you can skate and enjoy yourself. Because I honestly don't care if you share your work or if you want people to see it or not, as long as you're enjoying it and having fun. I mean, like, I went 4 or 5 months where, like, I raced home every day just to make maps and stuff because I had so much fun doing it. And it's not like it's not like that now. It's just, it's gotten repetitive, done it a lot, but okay. So once you have your Unity opened up, which I'm assuming you know how to do, you know how to work with Unity a little bit, I always make a models folder in my assets here. So the easiest way to do this is inside your folder. Let me get rid of this. You're going to before you bring in your ramp model or whatever you're using, you're going to create a folder. And we're going to call it materials. Okay. Now you could put a concrete folder, blah, blah, blah. But what I would do is just take our existing concrete folder and just drag it straight into that material folder. So now it just imported our 4 maps for our material in this folder. So now when we go back to our models folder, we're going to bring in the actual FBX file now for our ramp. And now when we bring the ramp in, it'll already be textured and ready to go. And that's it. That's the gist of UV texturing. If you want to do like one side a different texture than this, you just have to split the object up and make this side separate from the top and do different textures. And that's something I had to learn over time. I mean, there's a lot of tedious work to this kind of stuff when it comes to texturing. I mean, it's one thing to do this, but with UV texturing like this, if you wanted to do like the wax edges and stuff like that, the HDRPs that they have, and that the shaders that people have made, I could not even begin to explain that to you. So in that department, you're going to be stuck with one of your options, which is I can fully explain it to you and teach you it with Substance Painter. So you'll have to either get Substance Painter or you'll have to ask around from other people to find out how to do HDRPs and stuff, because I quite haven't learned it. And there's a lot of math involved in shaders, and it makes my head hurt. So, I mean, anybody tackles it and gets a good gist of it, please share me your simplified knowledge of it. But this is where I'm at, and hopefully this was helpful to some, and you guys can get basics of UV texturing. The same works for rails, ledges, I mean, everything and anything. Like I said, Substance Painter is the more ideal way to go, because I could have put cracks into this. I could have, added dust and dirt and all types of stuff. So I feel like Substance is really the way to go. But I've seen a lot of amazing things with UV wrapping. Some I don't know how they're achievable. So just go ahead and keep working with this and see where you guys get. I know a few of you that are making parks are just putting colors for the ramps and stuff right now. I'm not going to point names. I like your parks, no worries. But definitely think about just slapping on some basic UV textures, because I guarantee you'll get a lot more love for that. Even if they're just basic, even if they're stretched, people respect that more than just throwing the colors on. Because I tried doing the colors thing for a bit, and like it only works for, honestly, like SLS parks, because those ramps are really colorful and stuff. But I don't know, for normal parks and stuff, it's really hard. So UV texturing, it works, but like I said, Substance would be the way to go in the long run. So hope you guys learned something. Hope I wasn't rambling too much, but you guys have a great night, and until the next video, I'll see you.